Good day everyone, I am Lorime Andaya and I am going to present to you our research entitled Forecasting of Power Consumption in Camarines Norte State College Main Campus. So forecasting is an attempt at projecting future outcomes based on historical data, wherein people can foresee the uncertainty, possible problems, and threats that may come. Forecasting allows them to overcome those uncertain situations. So there are different uses of forecasting, and one of these is load forecasting. So load forecasting is a technique used by an electric utility to predict the power energy needed to meet the demand and supply equilibrium. It helps the electric utility to make important decisions in the future based on historical data and information available. Electricity demand forecasting contributes greatly to the operation, planning, and management procedures of power networks, which affects the decisions of electric utility. It affects the planning investment and capability expansion and operations. So accurate forecasting outcomes may lead to cost reduction and to enhance power security and stability. So Camarines Norte State College is one of the prestigious and fast-developing institutions in the Bicol region as of now. And CNSC has a large amount of energy consumption. So that is why it needs proper power management. So thus, the forecasting of power consumption is also needed. So this study aimed to forecast the power consumption of Camarines Norte State College main campus. Specifically, it sought to answer the following objective. So first, to determine the monthly and annual electric consumption of CNSC from 2011 to 2016. To determine the appropriate forecasting equation in the next 2 years. To come up with a proposed intervention that would effectively manage the energy consumption of the institution. So this study used a quantitative research design to determine the forecast power consumption of CNSC. So the researcher gathered the data needed, such as historical power consumption of CNSC and load distribution for the past year in Canoreco. After gathering the data, the researchers analyzed every data used significantly to produce an accurate forecast. So the researchers used an artificial neural network or ANN in forecasting. So ANN is found to be superior to the other conventional method. And group method data handling is a type of neural network used to predict energy consumption. So in this method, the researchers used GmbH DS 3.8.9. So this is an application that allows the researchers to forecast accurately. GmbH Shell has many forecasting methods, but the researchers focused only on regression analysis, load forecasting, demand forecasting, and time series forecasting method. So after the data were subjected to different forecasting methods, the researchers were able to get the different statistical data that were used to validate the forecasted value. So this table shows the CNSC monthly energy consumption in kilowatt-hour from January 2011 to December 2016. And this is the CNSC yearly energy consumption in kilowatt-hour from 2011 to 2016. So as observed from the table, the yearly power consumption of 2011 garnered 41,040 kilowatt-hour. And in year 2016, the total power consumption increased to 55,440 kilowatt-hour. The power consumption from the year 2011 to 2016 increased by almost 35.1%. So this table shows the comparison of the statistical measures the MAE, MAPE, and coefficient of determination. So MAPE, or mean absolute percentage error, it measures absolute error as a percentage of the forecast. It is one of the most popular measures of forecast accuracy. So meanwhile, Lewis, from Lewis 1982, drew up a table containing typical MAPE values for industrial and business data in their interpretation. This table was used as the basis of the researchers if the forecasted value is significant. So, based from the table, greater than 50% MAPE, it means inaccurate forecasting. And if the MAPE is 20 to 50%, it is considered as reasonable forecasting. And if the MAPE is 10 to 20%, it is considered as good forecasting. And if the MAPE is less than 10%, it is considered as highly accurate forecasting. While MAE, or mean absolute error, is the absolute value of the difference between the forecasted value and the actual value. MAE tells how big of an error can be expected from the forecast average. It measures the average magnitude of error without considering their direction. So MAE is the simplest forecast accuracy. While the coefficient of determination, or R squared, measures the proportionality of variance of the predicted outcome. It is calculated as the square of the correlation coefficient between the sample and predicted data. So this shows how well the model fits the given data. So a value of 1 means every point of the regression fits the data. And as a value of 0.5 means only half of the data is explained by the regression. So as the value of the coefficient asymptotic to 1 means that the model fit the forecasted value will be considered a good forecast. So based on the table, the regression analysis gives a MAPE of 64.91, which is the largest, while time series forecasting method is 10.73%. So according to the table of interpretation of MAPE values, time series forecasting method is considered a good forecasting, and the MAE of the four forecasting methods are 866.84, 780.05, 488.02, and 377.14 respectively. And it is seen that the time series forecasting method shows the least MAE among the different forecasting methods. So comparing the coefficient of determination, the time series forecasting method has the value of R squared closest to 1 among them. So based on the different measures, it shows that the time series forecasting is better to be used in forecasting power consumption. So this forecasting method shows the good and accurate forecasting based on the statistical data. So therefore, the researchers concluded that the best forecasting method that should be used is time series forecasting method. So this is the model fit and predicted values of kilowatt-hour consumption of CNSC main campus using time series forecasting, wherein the gray one shows the actual data, and the blue lines is the model fit, and the red lines are the predicted forecasting value. This is the generated equation using time series forecasting, where y is the forecasted value, x is demand, and t is the number of cycle. And the forecasted value of CNSC main campus using GmbH shell time series method is this, from 2017 to 2018. So as you can see, there is a lower confidence level and upper confidence level. So that means that the power consumption may fall between the lower and upper confidence level. So this is the statistic of factors of the forecast method used. So this is statistical values were also obtained through the use of GmbH shell application. And after the series of forecasts, we found a result that there is a great increase in the consumption of energy. So the researchers proposed energy plans and intervention that will minimize the consumption of energy with the help of SWOT analysis. These energy plans and intervention can adapt by the institution to have an energy and efficient institution. And proposed intervention, so by having solar panel in the roof deck of pavilion building, the use of lighting controls, use of efficient lighting light emitting diode, the reduction of luminaire, the use of microcontrollers to control the convenience load in each classroom, time scheduling using microcontroller to have a charging station in each department, so replacement of air conditioning units to more efficient air conditioning units, orientation about the students about the status of the consumption, seminar and training for the employees. To summarize, the primary purpose of this research study was to forecast the kilowatt-hour consumption of Camarines Norte State College main campus. The forecasted value was affected by the previous energy consumption, number of new buildings, the number of students, acquiring of new ACU, and different events held in the institution. The main objective of this study is to determine the monthly and annual electric consumption of CNSC main campus from 2011 to 2016, to determine the appropriate forecasting equation in the next 2 years, and to come up with a proposed intervention that would effectively manage the energy consumption. So this research employed regression analysis, load forecasting, demand forecasting, and time series forecasting method to forecast the power consumption using group method data handling shell DS 3.8.9. The study revealed that the time series forecasting method was the most accurate among the methods used. So time series forecast method of group method data handling gave accurate results with a mean average percentage error of 10.73%. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.